Working with you streamlined everything. You had the pieces I was missing that I could work on, and not just the pieces. You would have us work on the pieces and then you would review them. You changed my business, you changed my mindset. I go back to Jenna in January. Feels like she was almost a different human. Like community that you had with us within that mastermind. I feel like every single one of us is a changed person after.
All right. Well, I am here with Jenna. Thank you, Jenna, for being here. I'm really excited because you were in my mastermind this past year. When I met you, I just one, I saw your work and I was like, wow, your photography is so good. And I feel like you have this unique style. You're a mom in business and you still had your full-time job. I'd love you to talk a bit about having a full-time job. At first, you definitely thought you wanted to leave your full-time job, but then by the end of the mastermind, you kind of had a change of heart. Welcome. Can you share a little bit with everybody about where you're from and your journey of photography, specifically how you decided to focus on brand and motherhood photography?
Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm from Pennsylvania. I, let's see, I started brand photography as, so I was doing weddings and working my full-time job, raising two children. Doing weddings on the weekend was just too much. I was taking 1 to 2 a month, but being away from my kids, I didn't want to do it anymore. I don't remember how I stumbled upon brand photography, but there was a local chiropractor I'd been chatting with on Instagram. We had a lot in common. So we were just in each other's DMs a lot. And she asked me one day randomly if I would take photos for her business to make a website. She didn't even have a website up yet, but so I told her, I was like, I've never done that. So I don't exactly know what I'm doing. But she said she liked my photography and everything I was posting. And she knew we got along because of how much I post on Instagram and talking to her. I did her photos and I told her about an hour. I was there for 2.5. And after I left, I was just like, this is what I need to do. Working with women in business, talking to her about her journey, capturing her story while I was there. I left energized. I hadn't felt that from weddings. Like you have a wedding hangover the next day. Being there for 2 hours, that was my whole session. I was done for the day, but exhilarated. I was like, I need to do this. I don't exactly know what this is, but I need to do this. So I Googled business photos or something, and somehow brand photography came up. I searched it on Instagram because I live on there. I found you. You were one of the first people I started following, and I learned as much as I could. I went from there. I quickly came on Instagram and said, hey, I'm going to be offering this branding service. I explained a little bit about it from what I knew at the time. I booked 2 more brand sessions, both female owned businesses. After I left, I felt the same. This feels right. I need to do this. I'm done with weddings. We're doing this. I love everything about it.
I love how you described it as when you left the brand shoot, you felt energized because I
Yeah.
totally understand that feeling after every photo shoot. I'm
Yeah.
driving home oh, this is great. And
Yeah.
sometimes, depending on how long the shoot is, sometimes I do longer ones, but sometimes I am more tired now, but I'm still
Hmm.
happy. It's like, I'm just
Yeah.
that was amazing, you know? I'm
Yes.
just so excited to look at the photos. I love hearing how everybody started, who was that, that first client or how you got into it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool because I feel like a lot of times with branding, it's someone we know or a business owner we just connect with.
Hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
expect, love it.
I remember talking to her, the saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I apologize. She loved the photos. I still talk to her. I held a network event this year and she had me, I hosted it at her office space. So yeah, it was a relationship we've kept and I've loved.
That's awesome. How would you describe your photography style? Like, how has it evolved? And just how you describe your brand photography? Because I think you have a beautiful and unique editing style.
Thank you.
I'd love to hear how you landed on that.
Thank you. Coming from weddings, I've learned how to do that. So going into branding, I feel like I'm able to tell the story. I can catch little moments happening, like even in between shots. My editing, I love a moody vibe. I've never edited bright and airy or really warm. I'm usually the cooler edit. Lately, I've been trying to do more true to color because brands have specific colors. I always send a few previews with like how I would edit it, and no one has said, no, I want this brighter. I think that by posting what I love to do, I'm
Yeah.
attracting clients that like that.
Yeah.
It's
I
been
love
working.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like there's so many different ways to do things. You're not the only first photographer I've heard who like will offer different styles. If somebody wants
Mhm.
something different, it sounds like you'll customize a little bit, and that's great. Like the
Yes.
communication is so good to have with our
Yeah.
clients, and just like that's why you're successful. It's like being open, having conversations, making sure the client is happy. What's it been like for you as a mom while having a business and a full-time job? Anything you want to share for other photographers who are moms or planning to become moms and they're like, can I even do this? Is it even
Yeah.
possible for me?
Honestly, if it's important to you, you're going to make it work. Raising two babies, I'm the default parent. They want me for everything. My full time job, I work in mental health, so it's mentally draining, but I make it work. I come home on my lunch breaks, I edit, I have set specific boundaries so I'm not burning out. When I was pregnant with my second, I was so sick at 3 or 4 months pregnant. I already lost 25 pounds. I couldn't eat anything. I just felt so drained. I was sick all the time. I literally came on Instagram and announced that I was quitting just because I was so sick. The hormones were getting to me. I needed enough mental capacity to take care of my oldest and like get through my pregnancy. But when I was 6 or 7 months pregnant, I started to feel a little better. And I was like, where's my camera? Can I edit something? I think I got on Instagram and I was like, I'm back. Does anyone want to shoot? And I booked people. I can't not do it. I make this work and it's been successful. I've set more boundaries, streamlined stuff to make the business easier. You just make it work. If you love it, you make it work. I'm fully present with my children when I'm home, when I'm working during lunch. I know exactly what I need to do. I get it done. This year, I specifically told myself, unless I am so behind on editing or something with work, when I go to bed, I'm going to bed. I'm not getting up and working until 1 a.m. Then I'm just exhausted the next day. I have a priority list instead of a to-do list. It makes it work better. I make sure I get my priorities done. If something towards the bottom of the list doesn't get done, it wasn't a high priority.
I agree with like having just designated work time and designated time with the family where you can just be in mom mode. Not always easy to do, right? Like there's been many
Not.
times where I was like doing both and I'm like, what am I doing? Because I like didn't feel like I'm really getting work done, but I'm not being present with the kids. And for anybody watching, it's like if you think about this, like if you have 2 hours, would you rather be half present working and half present with your kids because you're trying to like kind of manage them playing over here while working? Or would you rather just do 1 hour of work, focus work time, set a timer, get 1 or 2 priorities done, and then go spend a whole hour with just your kids at the park or playing? It's like a no-brainer when we think about it like that, because it's just like more quality time for them, more quality time for your business. So like that is just so important. And you mentioned boundaries. Well, that when we were working together in the Flourish Mastermind, you felt like you started to set better boundaries. Are there any
Yeah.
specifics that stand out that have been helpful?
Mainly saying no to clients that I don't feel super aligned. An immediate yes when I get an inquiry, I say no. Politely, I pass them on. I know other photographers that do branding, so I will pass them on to, I have 2 or 3 I recommend. I'm still working full time, doing this on weekends mostly. If I can take time off, I try to get the brand shoot during the week while my kids are at school. But yeah, if I'm going to be away from my kids on the weekend, it better be because you're super awesome.
Yeah,
So yeah, if it's not an immediate yes, I politely decline.
it's hard to do,
Definitely hard to do.
but the more we get comfortable doing it,
Mhm.
The more we save space and energy
Yeah.
for the heck yes clients. If you discount or say yes to people you don't really want to work with at the price you really want to charge,
Mhm.
you're not going to have space and time for the other people, right? Especially if you're still working another job and momming, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah. Absolutely. Talking about pricing during the mastermind, I doubled my prices and then I just raised them again.
Yay.
So I am attracting like those types of clients, but I don't need as many. It's it helped in every aspect.
Yes, girl. I love hearing that. Well, let's get into talking about the mastermind and then we'll finish with like some more tips for brand photographers here. I just want to shout you out because you were still working a day job, you had young kids, and you still decided to do this mastermind. And I remember when we talked, you were like, okay, let me think about this because I need to see if I can like, if I have the time. I need to think about that.
Mm,
Like, do I have the time to do this? And I knew it's like, it's not about having a ton of time, but it's about just like being really smart with it. If you really want this, you're going to make it work. And I remember you would take calls on your lunch break in the car sometimes,
mhm.
you on our calls. Luckily, you have a flexible job, right? Like, so that
Yeah.
you were allowed to like listen into the calls and maybe
Mhm.
you weren't like on camera, but we knew you were listening, you were present throughout the mastermind. And I just would love to hear about like, why did you decide to join? How was it for you while you were still working your job, being in the mastermind?
Yeah. The initial reason was because I thought I was doing well in my business, but I knew I was missing pieces. I needed someone to look at my business and tell me what the pieces were I was missing. I was working with clients I loved, but I wasn't at the price where I wanted to be. I was doing so much work. I didn't feel great about it. I knew they needed to be higher. I knew the type of clients I needed to work with, and working a full-time job and momming, I didn't have all the time to like put into finding it myself. Like I felt I was at my max of what I could do myself. So when I started to see you posting about it, I was like, I think this is what I need. Like I don't even know if I knew what business coaching was, honestly, just because I've just been so into like looking, researching camera settings and editing and like
Mhm.
the specific things. So when you started posting about it, I was like, I this sounds like exactly what I need right now. Like right now. Because when I talked to you, the main thing was I did not want to stay at my full-time job. I have a different mindset now. I wanted to quit right after my second. I made a PowerPoint for my husband telling him all the reasons that I should not go back to work.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. I went back to work. So my like my mindset was do this mastermind, build my business, leave my job. Didn't want to be there anymore. Working with you streamlined everything. You had the pieces I was missing that I could work on, and but like not just the pieces. It like you would have us work on the pieces and then you would review them, and just everything was just it was just perfect. I don't even have words to say how good it was. Like you changed my business, you changed my mindset about things. Oh, just everything. So
When
yeah.
you said mindset, because you were like, my mindset around having my full-time job shifted, and I witnessed that, and it was so beautiful and inspiring.
Yeah.
Where are you now with it?
Yeah. So I literally have chills right now just thinking of it because it like it's just I can't put it into words, seriously. Like it was just that amazing. When you had us do a vision board at the beginning of the year. I had never done one before. I always kind of thought they were silly, honestly. My mom does one all the time, like good. She has like checks with $100,000 on her wall, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I've never done anything like that. But when you had us do it, I really got into it. My word of the year was abundance.
Mhm.
When I chose that word, I was thinking of it as abundance of time with my kids, good clients, abundance of money in my business so I could leave my job. That's why I chose the word. But
Mhm.
as you worked with us on our mindset, I always thought I saw the positive more than the negative, but you kicked it into high gear. So by the middle of the mastermind, I started to realize like I already have abundance. I have a full-time job that allows me to work on my business. I have the steady income from that job, the benefits, the pension, all that stuff that keeps me kind of sane while like having a family to support. And like because I have that job, I'm able to put so much into this business that I wouldn't be able to do if I was doing it full time. You totally changed my mindset with that. I could see the abundance I already have.
Mhm.
Every time I see that word now or hear that word, I get chills because I go back to Jenna in January when she was doing that board. It feels like she was the different human when I was doing it. I was like, tons of good food this year. Great. Yeah, now it's just, oh my God, I'm so
Like you're
glad I,
embodied. It sounds like you feel
yes,
that you are abundant and you
I
recognize
am
and
abundant.
you realize,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I already have it. What's really cool, Jenna, is like what you're talking about. I got to witness it. We had our Voxer chat every day, and a lot of people, women are celebrating wins in there, photographers in the mastermind every week. And also we talk about hard things in there. Like,
Mhm.
when all you have is your business and that is all you're depending on for income, it can be really challenging some seasons, and you
Mhm.
saw that firsthand, and that shifted your mindset. Luckily, this isn't my only income.
Mhm.
You have more freedom to pick and choose who you want to work with, raise your prices,
Mhm. Yeah.
because you still have a day job, which is, yeah, you are so abundant. It's like overflowing abundance.
Yes, it is. And I am getting chills like still
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
like, thinking about it. The community within that mastermind, talking to everyone else, the daily chats, every single one of us is a changed person after the mastermind. I'm so glad I took the leap. It was the right thing to do. The timing all aligned. If you feel aligned and it feels right, do it. You'll make the time to get on the calls. The daily chats with all the other women is just truly amazing. I still talk to them. Actually, yeah. I mean, we're in each other's DMs, cheering each other on social media. It's
I know. I
amazing. It
love hearing that you're
feels
all still connected,
no, it's
supporting
so
each other.
nice. We're
I love
still
it.
all in the Boxer chat. We still run
Yeah.
things by each other. Like it's invaluable because I feel like when you're starting photography, you hear that you need to build community and like have other photographer friends in the business or whatever, but it's not easy
Yeah.
to make friends in photography. Having that built-in community with you was invaluable. We still run ideas by each other. We still like help each other out in certain things. And I love that we have that.
That makes me so happy. That's like always my goal. And that's why I love masterminds. Let's talk about photographer life. What's something you do before every photo shoot to get in the zone?
I listen to Giggly Squad. It's a podcast.
Hmm.
Have you heard of it?
No, what is it?
Okay. It's two women. One is they were both on reality TV. I never watched the show. I honestly don't even know how I came across this podcast. But they're just two girls in their 30s chatting. They talk about like pop culture, like literally anything, but it's hilarious. And it's just hilarious. They're so funny.
So it just like gets you in like a lighthearted giggling mood?
Yeah, it just kind of like loosens me up.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to photo shoots replaying like their brand questionnaire in my mind, replaying our call in my mind, thinking about like I need to do this, this, and this. And by the time I get there, I'm stressed out and I don't want to bring that energy to my client. We do so much work building up to the shoot. I want the day of the shoot to be an empowering experience for them. They don't
Yeah.
need their photographer showing up on edge.
I like to listen to something lighthearted and fun, it's usually music, on my
Mhm.
way to the shoot to get in that energy, and it really works.
Yeah.
If you could go back to your first brand shoot, I think you said was with that, did you say it was a chiropractor, your first
Yeah.
client? Is there anything looking back you would have wanted to give yourself, like advice that you know now that you've done dozens of shoots?
I want to say no, just because I needed that first experience, just not knowing anything and having the feeling afterwards of like, oh my God, like this is what I need. But technically, I wish I would have planned a few storylines to tell because we really just talked about outfit changes. I think I would have. picked out 2 or 3 stories she wanted to share. I got fun portraits and like I captured her personality, but I didn't really, other than she was a chiropractor, like that's all the picture.
Did you use props?
A few. She had a skeleton, essential oils, an iPad with an x-ray of a spine. So we did use props.
On your first shoot.
Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but
nothing wrong with that. What about a tool you recommend to other brand photographers?
I totally can. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah. I thought it's Imogen.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I just found it.
Either way, it's fine.
Imogen, we'll say that. I've known about it. I did a free trial months ago, but never purchased it this past month. It's busy season. I've had a lot of shoots. My one friend is a wedding photographer. She's like, you need to use this. She's been telling me forever. I'm like, I'll get to it. I know. But like I said, I come home on my lunch breaks and I'm editing. So I really needed something to like quicken up that process. Yeah. So I started Imogen. I started using it and yeah, I'm pretty obsessed with it right now. It's the edits for me. Like you have to train it. You put in your edits and it learns. We're at the point where it knows how I edit and it does it. It saves so much time. It's insane.
Is this replace Lightroom?
No, it's a different program, but it connects to Lightroom. So there actually is, I think it's in the beta phase, but it can cull photos for you. I don't love that feature yet. I used it once or twice. I upload my catalog, call my photos, put them in Lightroom, then go in Imogen, upload a certain catalog, and it edits all of it for you. You download the previews so you can see like if there's certain edits you don't like or if they're spot on, then you say, yeah, we're good to go, and you upload it, and then it like every time you do it, it gets a little bit better because you can tweak edits and upload it back so it knows what you changed.
We have a couple questions from the community. One is from Otis about your workflow from consulting to onboarding to deliverables. So talking about like from the first sales call, anything you want to share on that maybe has made your life easier or your flow?
Yeah, the Mastermind made my life easier. That was a part of my business where it wasn't easy. I felt like I was doing so much before booking every single person. So yeah, so now I have a pricing guide that once they inquire, I have an email template that I respond with. I do still personalize every email. Like I try to just let them know that I did look at their website or their socials. So I'm like taking an interest in them already. So I'll send them an email and it'll have the whole process lined out for them. And then I attach my pricing guide. I give them a few dates I'm available if they want to hop on a call. Not many people hop on calls before they book anymore. They see the pricing guide. If they have any questions, they email me back. Yeah. And then like they'll let me know which package they want. I send a contract and invoice. They pay the deposit, sign the contract, and get a brand questionnaire. People love that. Clients said there were questions they hadn't thought of before. So it helps me learn more about them. They're encouraged to start a Pinterest mood board. I set up a strategy call about a month before their session. On the call, we go over everything, like their outfit choices, the location, the stories we're telling, the concepts. I review their questionnaire before the call. So if I have questions, I ask them on there. If they have any questions, they ask me.
After the photo shoot, your workflow, like deliver anything you do with like delivering the photos or that like post photo shoot workflow that.
Yes. So they get a preview album within 3 days. I don't limit photos with my packages. I did that in the past, but I see pros and cons to both sides. For me, I like not doing it. I'll give them a preview to make sure the edits are bright enough. Usually it's a go ahead from there. I call the images. They get the best images. So if something's blurry, they're obviously not going to get it. And then I just edit all of them and they get their gallery within 2 to 3 weeks.
Nice.
And then once I send the gallery, I have been sending like a PDF of ways that they can use their images, because some clients, they get it back and they're really excited. And then they're like, what do I post? They're like, what do I post first? What do you think I should do? I have some recommendations for when they get their photos. Usually post a reintroduction, like one of their headshots or something from their shoot, just because most people, like, we don't do that a lot. When you get fresh photos, it's the perfect time.
You reminded me about your transformation and flourish. A cool thing you did was offer social media managing and coaching. Are you still doing that?
I decided not to do social media.
Uh-huh.
I did start coaching women-owned businesses to gain confidence in showing up on social media and like how to market themselves and nailing down their personal brand so they can effectively market themselves. I just kind of saw a need for it. There were like, I had clients or like people reaching out to me asking me these specific questions, and I'm like, I feel like I can do this. So
Yeah.
I put it out there that I was offering it. Everyone knew it was like a new thing, and I had people book it right away. I had a client who already had a photo shoot booked, or like I think we were in the inquiry, and when we had we had a Zoom call and she booked my subscription and added coaching. I've loved it. It's so much fun seeing the women like gain their confidence throughout it and showing up, because no one else is going to do it for you.
You're so good about doing that yourself, like showing up
Yeah.
online as a personal brand. Like, I know that's partly why you've been able to stand out and just do so well. And I feel like just like book clients so quickly, because like when you were started in the mastermind, you're like, I've decided I want to do more branding and I want to go all in and I want to lean into branding. And then I saw you booking like crazy. Part of it is you showing up just as yourself online, and people are resonating with that. And they're like, I want more Jenna. So how do you, and one thing that makes you unique is you're hilarious and you post funny, entertaining reels. Whoever's watching this binge through Jenna's account, you have fun, entertaining content, and it's like you're just being yourself, but it's like so fun to watch and it draws me in. So what is your secret with that? Is this natural? Like, any tips you can share about like how you're able to do this?
Oh my God. I mean, I want to think it's natural. I don't know. I just love humor. I love when other people can make me laugh. So yeah, I mean, the way I do it, I don't have a content strategy. I call myself an emotional poster. Like when I have feelings or a thought, I share it. Like it's easy for me. I've been on Instagram so long. Showing up and resonating with people is how I've booked clients, because they learn my personality. Everyone says to share value, and I think humor is value. I mean, there's people don't like social media for a lot of reasons. I'm sharing something funny that happened, like people resonate with it, and they're in my DMs telling me they loved it. So I've had people book with me because they feel like we'll be best friends on the day. So I love that they're already comfortable with me, because I know like getting in front of the camera is hard for most people. I don't take it too seriously. I just have fun with it, and it's been working.
You can tell, and that's why I love it. It's lighthearted. It's funny you said emotional poster, because that's so true. And it's a lesson. Show up, be you, and do what feels good for you, because this feels good for you. For me, when I try to be funny, it feels forced and I feel like it's not as natural for me. It's just not my thing. I'm more like, I like to post inspiring content and the value stuff. I don't know. It's just not as easy for me. But for you, it's a strength. Love seeing you. This has been amazing. What does it mean for you right now to flourish in your business and life?
Oh my gosh, what does it mean? It means freedom. When my business is doing good, I'm with my kids as much as I want. I feel like I've gotten that back. Things are streamlined. I'm able to be fully present with my kids. I have the boundaries set that I'm not checking my emails when I don't need to be. Yeah, I have the mindset of abundance, the money mindset. Oh, the money mindset. That was amazing too. It just feels free. I feel free. And like I'm flourishing because I feel freer.
Especially the mental freedom, right? I can like
Yes.
so relate as a mom.
Yeah.
So, where can people connect with you and find you?
So on Instagram, it's at Jenna underscore B underscore photography. Same for Facebook. I did start a YouTube Shorts channel.
Ooh.
I'm planning on next week to film my like actual video because I would love to start on YouTube soon. And it's at Your Brand Therapist.
I so see this for you. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jenna.
Thank you so much for everything.